Hello and welcome to part one of the WordPress training series here. We're very excited to have you here. Hopefully you are too, that you're finally going to get your website up and learn a little something new about WordPress. It's a very interesting, I love it. I think you guys will too with all the plugins and just how easy they make things. So with that, let's get started here. Basically, we got to start off with a hosting plan here, and we're going to do website hosting 123.com. Bring you up to this site here. Step 2, just go to web hosting here. Go to WordPress blog hosting here. And let's set you up an account here. Now this becomes up to you a little bit here, and really I would think just for the small price difference, I'm going to go ahead and do the deluxe here. I mean, you get more space and you can create more than one website. It's only about $3 more a month, so let's go ahead and add that to the cart here. Okay, and with this, you can get a new domain for $1.99, which is a very good deal. So if you've purchased a domain name through another company, just call our support number and have them help you point that over. It's not really hard, but just call them and let the experts handle that for you. If you have not, just keep right here in this box and start typing domain names. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, so I'm just ATL, ATL, ATL. I'm just going to do something very generic. See if it's available. I think it is. Okay, so ATL, ATL, ATL.com is available. So I'm gonna add it. Okay, continue to cart. Okay, probably just downgrade this to a year here. You can keep it at whatever you want here. I'm just keeping it for 1 year for training purposes today. Alright, and what we're going to do, now that we have Deluxe hosting Linux, this is critical. This has to be Linux. It cannot be Windows. It should automatically select Linux for you. Just make sure, just double check that. And here's my domain name here. So we're going to check out here. And we do not have an account, so we're going to have to create an account, which I know everybody loves. Everybody's got 10 million passwords, but we're going to have to create an account here. So if you just bear with me a second while I create an account. Okay, so we have our account created. Now I'm going to go through the standard process of checking out here. If you just bear with me another second here. Okay, I think I have everything set up here. Let me place my order. Okay, so right here you see where it says get started here. Let's get over here and let's get started here, because now we're going to get into the setting up of the hosting account here. Okay, it's asking which domain do we want to use for our website. Should populate. Well, since we just purchased that one. So you type in the, just to clarify, you're going to type in the domain name here that you just purchased. Okay, very simply here, install WordPress here. This will be your very next step here. Okay, so we're going to come here. This looks good here. Now I know that you just created a user account a minute ago. That's for website hosting 123. This account here is actually to access your WordPress. So no matter what computer you're on, where in the world, if you want to access your actual WordPress to get in here and, you know, make changes or whatever, this is going to be the main thing you're going to need to know to manage your WordPress account. So let me create an account, a WordPress account real quick. Okay, so just give you all a second to look there. Here's the domain I just purchased. Here's my WordPress username and my WordPress password. And now you're going to want to write all this down just to make sure you don't forget. So take a second and jot that down. So hit OK here. Okay, so now you see it's installing. See right here. Give this just a second to install WordPress onto the host here. And I told you this wasn't too complicated here. It sounds a little more complicated than it actually is. Okay, now our WordPress is installed. That took about 3 to 4, maybe 5 minutes there to let that install. And you see here what we're looking at. We have Go Live or Preview. I'm going to go ahead and just click Go Live here. Alright, and this sometimes takes a little time to propagate through the internet. That's just how it works as far as your actual domain name. So, for example, my domain name, I just purchased it. It takes a little while to propagate through the internet. Usually less than 24 hours, but sometimes you may type it in once and it goes through, and you may type it in again 10 minutes later and it doesn't go through. And that's normal. It just takes a little time for it to replicate all out through the internet. So I'm going to click Finish here. Okay. Excellent. So now that I type in my web address here, it says just another WordPress site. This is perfect. So everything's configured. This is live on the internet right now. So that's really essentially as far as getting WordPress on there. Looking pretty good so far here. So what we can do is let's log into WordPress now so you can actually see what it looks like. And give me 1 second here. Okay, and this is the WordPress backend here. This is actually how you're going to manage your site. And this is really where the cool part comes in. Just real briefly here, we can customize your site. You can see all about your blog post, spam, approved, pending. You can set this to where if somebody posts a reply to one of your blog posts, you can approve it manually in case it's a spam message and you don't necessarily want it to be on there. And we have our media. This is all of your pictures, videos. Here's all your pages. We just have a simple sample page here, but this is where you create actual pages to your website. Comments. Here's where you can customize the themes. We'll get into that really into the next session here, in the next couple sessions here. But this is really the general layout of what you'll be dealing with when you deal with WordPress on the back end. And you notice, there's no complicated code. It's just a couple menus here. And that's really how you're going to, manage this, your users and your tools. And we'll get into that a little more on the next training session, but for right now, you should have purchased a domain name. You should have set up WordPress on the hosting account, and you should be looking at this right here. And this is the main first step on how you get started with WordPress. So wait to see for your video in the next couple days. Come through and we'll get into this a little deeper and get your site up and running and customized for you and get you going. So talk to you next time. Thanks.